So if you've ever wondered about 3D scanning and getting into 3D scanning, and the question was, do I need a powerful computer to do a 3D scanner? And I've got Task Manager pulled up here, and what we just did is I scanned, what was it, 3 different parts, 2 scans a piece, top and bottom. Might have even done 3 scans on one of them. So I've got all the scans I did here. Obviously this one at 24 megabytes doesn't have any useful data, so that one gets deleted. But what we're doing right now is, the nice thing with this software is I don't have to scan one and then process it and scan one and then process it. So I scanned all my parts, and then I opened all of them in their point clouds. So this is all of them overlapping each other. And then over here on this side, and this is specific to this software, it'll be different for other softwares, but let me move that. So what's happening right now is this one's already processed, this one's already processed, and that one's already processed. So these are 3D STL models that are already done, and it's currently working on the other 4 pieces, that one being either really quick or the one with not much information. Same with that one, it doesn't have too much information. But yeah, I just wanted to show that it does wind up taking a fair bit of your CPU, and the more powerful that it is, the faster this processing will take. We're already probably on about 10 minutes, which is probably about as long as it took to scan, so it's probably going to take about twice as long to finish this. But yeah, this is what it can be like when you're 3D scanning. So from my understanding, if you've got a little bit more powerful PC, the scanner will be able to shoot more frames and understand more frames a second as far as data goes, as well as its processing power through this. So this is where like maybe an AMD higher thread CPU, like a 12-core 1632 or whatever the different numbers are, would be useful. So this specific computer is a what is it? Our CPU is a i7-67K up here. Still a decent computer with some decent gigahertz speed, decent CPU, but it does switch back and forth between using a little bit of our GPU and CPU. So we're going to get different spikes as it goes through this processing information, and we can see it looks like it made another one over here, and it's almost made another one. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of show this back end a little bit, and answer the question of, do you need a more powerful computer to run a 3D scanner? It's definitely going to be beneficial, and luckily right now at the time of this video, cryptocurrency is crashing, so a lot of people are selling their high-end computers or selling the components they had bought to create mining rigs. So graphics cards have come considerably down. I was looking at a computer just the other day with the graphics card that I wanted in it, with the entire computer decked out, and 6 months ago, 8 months ago, the graphics card alone would have cost as much as the entire computer now. So we can see it's starting to take up our CPU again, 100% utilization, as well as some peaks on our GPU down here. I will say it's interesting that it's not pinging my main GPU, and I actually have this open in OpenGL on this GPU, but it seems to be pinging GPU 1. I really don't care what GPU it uses. I mean, this one is more powerful, the TI over the 3060, but maybe the 3060 is more useful for some reason, but it's chomping data. The 3060 is a part of what's processing this information. So interesting nonetheless. Do you need it? I would say if you're scanning small things, it'll be less important. It might just take longer to do things. But the more powerful computer you have, the bigger things you're going to be able to scan, the more information you'll be able to process. If you're doing a scan, I've had some scans come in at 2 gigabytes, and if you're scanning that much information, it could be a 10 or 15 minute processing just for that, and that's on my computer. So, if you're looking at spending $800 to $7,000 or more dollars on a 3D scanner, you definitely want to make sure you have a workstation that can use it. And use it appropriately. Otherwise, you might be bottlenecked at your computer speeds, and you won't be able to get things done, or maybe during this process it crashes. You definitely need to make sure you have enough RAM. As we can see, my memory is currently taking up 30 gigs of space. So if you only had a 16 gig rig, you wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, but I do want to notice that my Google Chrome is taking up about 10 gigs. So I do keep a lot of tabs open here, but my scanning software alone is at 7 gigs, and then my Curas, are at so many gigs or so many megabytes a piece. So we're using up half of my memory, which is 64 gigs, and we're cruising at about 30. So I highly recommend at minimum a 16 gigabyte rig, if not a 32 gigabyte rig. And at 16 or 32, you might have to have everything else closed on your computer in order to get a good performance out of it. Now again, I'm using a workstation computer. This isn't really a workstation. This is a gaming computer that I'm using for work. And I've got a lot of RAM, so I can keep a lot of things open. I can keep all my tabs open and all my Curas open while I'm doing 3D scanning processing, and that's why I built this computer. So if you want the ability to multitask, you want the ability to have a lot of workflow open in your computer, definitely you want to get a big computer, and you definitely want RAM to be a priority. RAM is one of the cheaper things that you can shove in your computer for a couple $100. I definitely recommend 32 to 64 gigabytes if you're building an average or decent rig, or you're looking to buy one, because that'll help you be able to keep a lot of programs open at once and it not affect performance of everything else. So just wanted to share that with you real quick. Do you need a powerful computer to do 3D scanning? Not necessarily, but it's heavily beneficial is the answer. Thanks guys, like, share, subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.